Officer berthing was often hot and cramped, but Intrepid's officers made the most of their accommodations. 3 former officers share their bunking experiences.
My bunk room was often pretty hot, particularly if it were a hot day on the flight deck in the sunshine. So we often sit around in our underwear to help escape the heat. But after we got back from the med cruise, I was able to get Victrola. And in order to use it in the junior officer's bunk room, it had to go down and be worked on for several days by the ship's electricians to make sure that it was grounded and safe. But that gave us monaural music in the junior officer's bunk room.
Well, I had a stateroom with 2 bunks in it, with the upper bunk totally unusable. The bunk was only used once. We were doing what's known as cross-decking with the Forrestal. Their aircraft were landing on the Intrepid and ours were landing on their ship. One A4 Skyhawk jet on takeoff lost power, and we catapulted it right into the ocean. The pilot ejected. We had him back on deck within a couple of minutes. He had a minor scratch here on his chin from his helmet. At that particular time, every stateroom and every bunk on the officer's country portion of the ship was full, except for that upper bunk. So he had to stay overnight because it was too late to highline him back. I said, take my bunk. I have slept in the upper bunk before. No, I don't want to put you out. I insisted, he insisted. He had to slide in because from the top of the mattress to the I-beam above his head was 9 inches. Somewhere in the middle of the night, either the general alarm went off or the telephone rang. He sat up too quickly and he knocked himself silly. We never used the bunk again because he got a cut on his head that was worse than the scratch that he got from ejecting from the aircraft.
In a squadron, when you come aboard, you're assigned so many staterooms for your officers, and you're assigned so many working spaces for your various airframes, power plants, people. So 4 Lieutenant JGs got the 0111, we call the triple sticks rooms, and it became probably infamous is better than famous because it was a large room, relatively large. When there would be a stand down day, a day on which we knew the next day we weren't going to fly, we'd have a get together in our room and basically just have a party, kind of blow it out and have a good time and drink a lot of alcohol that we weren't supposed to have. And there's a couple of incidents that occurred at these things. One of them was we had a little fan about this big that was attached to an upper bunk. There were a couple of them in the room. And the thing just ran all the time, and it would blow air onto the person who was on the rack trying to get some sleep. And this thing never turned off. Jimmy Jones was in there, and he's looking at this thing, and he's a maintenance guy. He figures out which way the fan's going, and he sticks his finger in and he stops the blade. He sticks it through the guard, and he stops the blade, and he looks at it, and he's drinking, and he looks at it, and he sticks it back in, and he stops it again, and he says, yeah. And so the skipper, by this time, has come up to our party. He didn't always come, but he was there that night. He's got his skivvies on, and we're drinking and having a great time. Skipper says, Jonesy, what are you doing over there? He says, I'm just playing with this little fan. You guys get your excitement flying your airplanes. I'm stuck here on the boat, and I'm playing with this. Jones is just sucking them in. He says, yeah, what are you doing? He says, show me what you're... And Jones stops the fan. You had to put it in a certain way to stop it. If you did other than that, Skipper says, let me try that, Jones. He sticks his finger in it, he took a big slice out of it, and he was bleeding all over the place. And grabbed one of the T-shirts off the bunk, wrapped them all up, and the next day we're all in the AOM in the ready room where everybody's sitting there with their coffee. And he's up there, he's got his hand all wrapped up. Nobody said a word.